What's up, Eagle fans? We are back with the next edition of The Nest. I'm Aaron Seipel, Sports Information Director, here outside at Varsity Field. We got a couple of things going on in the Activity Center and Eagle Gym, so the normal Nest episode will be a little different this week. So with that all being said, let's get into last week's highlights. First up is women's volleyball taking on Simpson on Thursday night. They handled the Redhawks, winning in 3 straight sets. Here, Aaron Clark gets the kill to finish it. Eagles keep their CalPAC winning streak alive. Here, women's soccer on Friday taking on Simpson in Reading. Ashley Askell with the sick diving header to get the 12th goal for the Eagles. Eagles win handedly. Later that same day, men's soccer would get 3 early in the first half and would get their first CalPAC victory of the season. That same night, Embry-Riddle volleyball taking on UC Merced. They'd win again in 3 straight sets. Now the big one, women's soccer against UC Merced in a CalPAC championship rematch. Maddie Mack scores the game winner on a penalty in the 75th minute to get the Eagles the much needed victory. They'd win 2-1. In another tough test, men's soccer taking on UC Merced right after the women's game. They would have a tough time scoring. Both teams really had good opportunities. Michael Sardinsky gets the save here, but unfortunately the Eagles would fall to a golden goal. Later on Saturday, women's volleyball would sweep Pacific Union in a pretty easy victory, winning in 3 straight. At the Lewis and Clark State Invitational, women's golf took care of business in the second round. Cammie Culp led the Eagles with a +9, and the Eagles would win their second tournament of the season. Men's golf would finish 5th at the tournament, led by Joseph Allen. That does it for last week's highlights. Now we'll talk with Chris Bray, head coach of men's and women's cross country, to see how they did last week at the Mustang Invitational. Ariana put it down once again, running a 17:09. We'll see what he has to say about that. We are here with head coach of men's and women's cross country, Chris Bray. After an extraordinary weekend, good team results at the Mustang Invitational hosted by the Masters University. Chris, kind of talk to me about how impressed you were with the team and their results, and we'll kind of get into the individuals after that.
Sure. Yeah, the teams both performed well. We like to go into the Masters University race a little bit tired because we want to work through. We're still mid-season right now, so we're not backing down for any of the races. We ended up, again, team-wise, the women were 9th out of 31 teams, which sounds like it's middle of the pack, but literally the way you can either score by points or by team times. Points-wise, we were 9th, but team time, we had the same time as Lewis Clark State University, which is 5th. So we're in the mix with everybody, which is nice. And but I know we're going to be, the way I'm training the teams, we're going to be better later in the season. Same thing happened last year. We got beat by a couple teams, like on the men's side. That we ended up coming back and working pretty hard and beating them at nationals. On the women's side, we had a pretty big gap between our number 1 and like our 1 through 5, but our women's team is getting stronger on the back end, which is fantastic. That's exactly what we need them to do. These next 4 weeks leading into conference are going to be vital, and they are getting ready. We're putting in the hard work, and it's a grind for them, but I'm so looking forward to working with them in the grind and getting them up to where they can be. On the guys' side, men placed 5th behind the Masters, who they're running lights out right now. Lewis Clark University was right ahead of us as well, but the guys are running tired. We've got a couple guys moving up. We've got Nick Hernandez, which is making improvements on a weekly basis. And so he's getting back right into the mix, and freshmen are doing great. We've got a couple guys that are starting to move up as well with the men. So we might not be where we want to be right now, but at the end of the season, we're going to be where we need to be. So looking forward to that.
So you talked about the Masters being lights out. Let's talk about one of our own who's lights out right now. Ariana Anderson posted a ridiculous time last week, 17:09, correct?
Yes.
And she won the race. Fastest time in Calpac history, fastest time in school history, her personal best. What is she doing that's different from last year, where she's just pushing the pedal down to the floor all the time?
You know what we're doing with Ariana, we met in the preseason, and she says, I want to run with the boys. I said, well, then let's have you run with the boys. She hangs on to the back of the pack of our men's team, and I let her do it. We monitor how hard she's working, and sometimes I hold her back because she wants to chase the guys down, and I'm like, some days we're working a little bit too hard, but we're training her smart. We're letting her push the pace on certain days, and that's just helped her to step up above and beyond where she's been before. Like, she's already exceeded her goals for the season, and which is great. But yeah, running 17:09. At one point, I thought she'd actually missed a turn on the course because she was so far ahead, and then she just gapped the field even more. Watching her the whole way, it was. It's nice when you can win by 39 seconds and just know that she had more in the tank, because no one was pressing her after mile 1. She left the pack at mile 1, and there's some Division I schools, Division II schools, so it wasn't like she was going for a walk in the park with just a bunch of high schoolers. I'm like, she laid it down, and it was fun to watch. But she's just been working hard, and yeah, she was the NAIA Runner of the Year. Calpac Runner of the, for the week.
The month, yeah.
For the month,
and NAIA Runner of the Week.
NAIA Runner of the Week. Yeah, I just make up stuff for her. She's been running well, but she's been running smart, and that's what's even more important.
And so on the men's side, Grady Kirst has been kind of carrying the load for the men. He was the number 7 last year, if I'm not mistaken. Now he's the number 1 and pretty, solidly in that place. What has he been doing?
Grady's been running lights out for us as well. And it's not that it's just Grady running lights out. The whole guys team, the top 5, have been really stepping up. They work well together. They push each other in practice. And again, getting Nick Hernandez back into the mix of the top 5. This morning we did a workout, and he was pushing right up at the front at the very end of the workout. So some people are going to be surprised when he steps in our next, when we go to our next race in 2 weeks. Some people are going to be surprised with how well he's improved. I'm not surprised because I know that's what he can do, and he's working up to his ability. But yeah, Grady was 7th for us at Nationals last year, but from cross country into track, Grady became an All-American and was 7th nationally in the steeplechase. So we knew he had it in him. We just had to slowly develop his abilities, and now going into his 3rd year here, now he's doing what he's capable of doing. And it's not that he has to be our number 1. I don't care who our number 1 is. He's just filling that position right now. It might be that he's number 2 or number 3. It's okay wherever he's at, but he just stepped in and ran exactly what Matthew Siegel, our number 1 from last year, was running, like down to the 2nd at the Masters race. So he's doing a great job leading the team. The pressure's not on him to lead. He just happens to be our number 1 right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah, thank you.
Ariana Anderson was just named the NAIA Cross Country Runner of the Week for the 2nd time in 2019. She ran the 17:09, like I previously mentioned, at the Mustang Invitational. So, moving on to next week, here you can see a schedule of what the Eagles are up to. Men's and women's soccer will be at home on Friday and Sunday. So come on out and see them take on Soka and Marymount on those days, big Calpac matchups. Men's and women's golf will be hosting the ERAU Co-Ed Invitational on Monday and Tuesday. So if you can come out, we'd love to see you. So there you have it. That's this week's edition of The Nest. Follow us down below on our social media platforms, and subscribe if you're on YouTube checking us out. So we'll see you next week. Peace.